By Tiger Talk brought to you by Whistle Stop Donuts, Hancock's neighborhood market on Commerce Street in Katie's delicious homemade goodness. String Beans Coffee House, Mrs. McLovett's Cupcakes, both on Lower Main in Princeton, Brantley Furniture, and Perry's Floors and more.
Make the morning great with a stop at Whistle Stop Donuts on West Main Street in Princeton. Whistle Stop makes their donuts fresh daily, and they're ready on your way to work or school. They have a wide variety of fresh donuts, so you can surprise the office with a dozen delicious donuts. And remember, after 11 a.m., donuts are only $5 per dozen through August 8th. Stop by Whistle Stop today and enjoy a donut or a dozen. They're open 5 a.m. to noon, Monday through Saturday. Whistle Stop Donuts on West Main in Princeton.
Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Katie's is the place to shop for delicious homemade goodness. Hancock's makes their own fresh chicken salad, pimento cheese, salads, and a variety of mouth-watering desserts sure to please your entire family. While at Hancock's, be sure to visit their meat department for the best selection of USDA choice meats in the area. Hancock's Neighborhood Market in Katie's, hometown, homemade goodness, and the Hancock name you know and trust for quality for your family. Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Katie's. And at 8:05, it's Tiger Talk, and I have the pleasure of welcoming into the WPKY studio this morning Mr. Jimmy Dyer. He is the Director of Transportation for Caldwell County Schools. How are you, sir?
I'm having a great day.
Well, good. And, boy, it's a beautiful day. Can you imagine August weather? You know, normally we're thinking about buses and it being real hot for kids, 81.
We're looking into mid-80s the rest of the week as the high. My drivers are happy.
Yes, sir. And thank you for being here.
I'm glad to be here.
It is always exciting to have the beginning of school start. And there are, you know, we've got, like you said, 2 ways in, 2 ways out from our schools. We were talking off air, but let's talk about the transportation and the busing and driving of our kids to school, because in years past, it's been kind of like, oh, my goodness, got to get in that traffic. And school traffic can, at some point, sometimes be a little bit hectic and crazy, but for the most part, we were talking off air, the last couple of years, opening morning has been pretty smooth.
It has been very smooth. We better knock on wood.
Yes, sir. We were not going to jinx it.
But, yeah, I think we've got less and less parents bringing their kids to school that first day. Heck, the kids want to ride the bus. A lot of them, especially the younger ones. And the less traffic, the better for us.
Right. And, of course, there's always, especially the opening morning, there are, you know, part of the administration out there normally at different checkpoints to try to help out, because people forget, you know, there are a lot of students that it's their first time either coming up to the school, whether they're, you know, just beginning at the primary school or wherever. And then and sometimes, you know, there's new driver's license folks out there that are driving to school.
Right.
And things change. For a lot of people, it is a new experience, I guess, to get out on the road and come to school. What do you think is the biggest issue facing our parents and buses as far as just getting to and from school?
The big deal is just volume. Just volume. But we're well prepared. At every turn on campus, we're going to have an administrator to help. You know, if it gets backed up one place, they're going to help us fix it. We've also got officers that will be at the end of Beckner Lane, at Vocational School Hill, and in front of the primary school, so that the people coming from Fredonia that have to turn left will have the opportunity. They're not going to get backed up either.
So important to have our officers there. They do a fantastic job.
They do a fabulous job.
Of course, mainstay has been John Ernest down there at the high school.
He's awesome.
He is awesome, and of course, every once in a while, he has a substitute. But rain or shine, he's out there getting it done at Beckner Lane. And
he's one of my sub drivers, and he helps me out when I get in a bind. And you're right, he is faithful to the job.
No, there's no doubt about it. And of course, we usually have a cruiser down in front of the primary school as well. and there'll be folks. So, of course, sometimes going up the hill there can be a little bit, but what's so great is that folks tend to help each other out. They will stop and let traffic out. You just have to watch and be careful out there, though, don't you?
You sure do, because it's one way, but everybody doesn't realize that.
Right.
So, yeah, you better have your head on a swivel, but we had a good year last year. I think we had one wreck out there on campus. Had a couple out in front of the primary school, people
Right.
trying to sneak out. We've got pylons set up until about 7:30 to send you up the hill. Yeah, it takes you a little while longer, but if you go past the pylons there onto Marion Road at the primary school, you're playing Frogger trying to get out. You may not. So you're better off, and you'll save time going through campus, believe it or not.
No, I agree with that. I've driven, my kids up there several years, and I think it is. If you just drive through campus, that's the way to do it. It seems like you're going the long way, but it's not. I think it runs really smooth and do that. Any changes this year from previous years up there as far as anybody that might drive that you're aware of or think of at the top of your head?
No, sir. No changes on campus.
I recently read where we had a story this morning about Kentucky Transportation Cabinet crews out, making sure our lights our blinking lights at our crossings or in our entrances and our school zones are working. I was out yesterday, went through there. Everything seems to be working fine.
Yes, sir. Gary Jackson's all over that for us. We
Yep.
appreciate him. I mentioned him, but him and Wendell Lane and David Sullinger, changing gears, but snow and anything I need. If I need a turnaround, they're on it. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah, they do a fantastic job, and that's what's great about our small community
Yes,
here
sir.
is that
Yes, sir.
we all look out for each other, and we're always willing to jump in there and help. And whether it's a paid thing or a non-paid thing, people just jump in and do what needs to be done to keep not only our adults safe but our kids safe, because that's what it's all about, keeping these kids safe.
Yeah, and when I go to meetings, I find out we are blessed. It's not this way everywhere.
No.
And it's a lot of it is because we're a small town. People are invested in the community, so they want the best. Plus, they've got kids or grandkids in this process, so they want the best for them.
No doubt about it, and that's what it is, keeping these kids safe. Let's take a brief little break here, Jimmy. We're going to take a string beans coffee break and a Miss McClovett's cupcake craze break. And we're going to chomp on our Whistle Stop donuts,
Sounds
too. Maybe
good.
we can do that. And we'll come back and we'll talk some more. Maybe look over some of these safety items that are out there, just for some reminders for parents, especially as far as busing is concerned. And we'll come back and talk with Mr. Jimmy Dyer. He's the Director of Transportation of the Caldwell County School District. And we'll be back here on Tiger Talk after these messages. You're listening to Tiger Talk on your hometown radio station, WPKY The Tiger. String Beans Coffee House in downtown Princeton specializes in made-to-order espresso drinks, hot, over ice, or frozen. They serve lunch Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 2. Like them on Facebook to view their weekly menu. They also rent out the back room for birthday parties, anniversary parties, and baby showers. That's String Beans Coffee House, 108 East Main Street, Princeton. Give them a call, 270-365-0550. Shh. It's Princeton's best-kept secret. Pardon me?
Mrs. McLovin's Cupcakes in downtown Princeton. It's truly the best-kept secret in Princeton. Come down and enjoy a delicious homemade cupcake made from scratch and only from the finest ingredients. While downtown, enjoy a sweet treat on the patio in front of our shop. It's a delightful way to spend a moment with a friend or someone you love. Check out Instagram and Facebook for the Mrs. McLovin's Flavor of the Week. Mrs. McLovin's Cupcakes on Lower Main in Princeton, where there's always room for a cupcake. Phone 270-963-2544 to place an order.
And at 8:12, back here on Tiger Talk with Jimmy Dyer, Director of Transportation with Caldwell County School Districts. And we were talking during the break here about some safety tips. We had a story from the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. These are safety tips not only from them, but law enforcement. You all would encourage everybody. And let's talk a little bit about safety at the bus stop.
All right. First of all, get your children there early, especially the first day or two, because the routes have changed.
Right.
And if they're there early, we're not going to be sitting out front honking and waiting. And if you're late, everybody after you is now waiting longer. So, for the courtesy of all the other kids, get there early. Recommended 5 to 10 minutes. That helps us a lot. Also, at the bus stop, just if you're a parent and you can keep an eye on them, that's helpful too, especially in town. You know, we got some stops where we'll get 10, 15 kids on at the same time. Kids don't always get along. They roughhouse, they goof off, and whatever is in the neighborhood comes to school. So if we can have parents that are keeping an eye on them at the bus stop, that helps. They are to wait for us 10 feet minimum off the road. I know they start elbowing and pushing, wanting to be the first one on, but if they'll just chill out, take their time, we're going to get them all.
Right. And that's so important because it's really bus stop awareness for everybody, whether it's the driver, whether it's a parent, whether it's the kid waiting there. Be aware of your surroundings and try to have eyes all over the place like in sports, because there's all kinds of movement and things that are going on, and in the if an unfortunate thing could happen, it's when you're not paying attention.
Right.
And that's a big thing.
And the bus stop loading and unloading is the number one most dangerous time.
No doubt
Once
about
they
it.
get on the bus, safety is great.
Right.
But just be careful at the bus stop.
What time do our bus routes? What's the earliest stop that we have? What time do you get going?
We've got I've got some of my county routes. They will leave at 15 till 6.
Yeah.
And they're picking up kids by 6 o'clock.
Right.
Several of those.
Right. That's early, and it's just when you're spread out and live in a rural area, that's just how it has to be.
That's the nature of the beast. It sure is.
And of course, we want to remind these drivers as well to watch out for these buses as well. Notice when they're going to stop. Give yourself plenty of time. Stay off your phone and watch for those yellow lights to come on. And when those red lights come on and that bar goes down, you better be stopping if you're not on a divided highway.
That's right. 200 feet before the stop, the yellows are going to come on. And whenever they get to the stop arm crossing gate comes out, and at that point, that is a stop sign. The drivers will, if you run that stop arm, they will do their best to get your license plate number, and I turn it in to Bridgie Miller, the county attorney, and he does a good job of prosecuting. We don't go looking for people. If my drivers see that somebody's probably not going to stop, we're going to keep the kid on the bus, keep them safe.
Yes.
But we are going to try to get your attention. So you don't want that on your insurance. We don't want that problem. So just when you see the bus, stop.
Yeah, be careful and just pay attention to what's going on out there, especially when school's in session. Let's talk about the upcoming. Of course, we're not in school for the Eclipse event. We're not open that Monday. I've heard little rumblings and rumors about the concern about getting back Tuesday. Not everybody's going to be gone that might come in here. Again, we don't know what numbers are going to be. We can speculate. We've heard different agencies, with their predictions. But what do you anticipate as far as that is concerned?
It's just according to who you listen to.
Yeah.
Some folks are saying that, Tuesday may be as bad as Monday because people didn't head out right after the eclipse, and we've got festivals going on all in the area. Others think it's not going to be quite as bad. We're in session on Tuesday.
Right.
As far as that end of the county, we have 2 buses that run there. I will go out that way that night, and if we need to have parents bring children in to meet us, and we don't need to go out that way, we will. But we plan on having school as usual on Tuesday.
Yes, sir. And then let's talk about, of course, we're fall just around the corner, and then we get into our winter months. And let's talk a little bit about, you guys do a fantastic job as far as when potential winter weather strikes. Let's talk about that process and how that works, because I think, we've got the code red, we got the one call, we've got all kinds of different ways to do that. But maybe tell us, I've always wanted to know what the process was in deciding about school. I know there's a campus aspect to this as well as a road aspect. So let's get into a little bit of the details as to how that works.
All right. Whenever there's snow, I get up, I'm out about 3 o'clock in the morning. I head north of town. I get the Cresswell area. I get everything from here to Cresswell. I get Fredonia. Our superintendent normally goes and checks on campus. I'll look at it as I drive that direction. Bob Waters and Dustin Cash, they go different directions. One goes toward Dawson, one takes Hopkinsville, and we cover most of the county. But I take videos, I take pictures, I send them back to the superintendent. We give them our recommendation. What we get a lot of times is, well, people in Fredonia are going, why aren't we going to school? Well, you didn't see what was happening on the south part of town this time. It was a blizzard. So,
and that happens.
And I guarantee it, we've seen it. We've covered
Right.
it. We know what's going on. And the safety of the child is number one. We will not take a chance. We will err on the side of caution.
Yes. And, of course, you all want to be in school. I mean, that's,
for sure.
I mean, there's no, if you can have school and safely be in session, you're going to have school. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely. We had a situation, that was a spring one, but everybody around us ended up canceling school or leaving early, and I kept calling National Weather Service, and they kept going, it's not going to happen. I don't know why they're doing this, and we were the only one in, but nothing came.
I remember. It seems like I remember that because I'm a kind of a weather guy myself, and I like keeping track of it, and I'm always watching. And to tell you the truth, and not to sound, I just don't remember back in the day. And granted, kids need to stay safe, but they're safe at school.
They are.
And we were always told that. And there are safety measures in place for severe weather, for storms. And I'm glad you brought that up because it's a lot more dangerous, I would think, to put these kids out on a road if there's a potential storm situation because as good as the weather forecasters are, you cannot predict when a storm's going to pop up, an isolated shower over a certain area. And, I think it's a shame that we've come to where that we've probably put a little bit more panic into these spring situations with our kids than what way it was in the past.
Right. Everybody loves sending me stuff about snow and all that when it's coming our way, but spring storms are tons worse than winter as far as the stress level. But I just depend on the National Weather Service. I wear those guys out, and they are awesome. They talk to me every
I know
time.
Rick Shanklin's great and has been over in our county and has been very active, and I know there's several others over there at the office and that's my go-to place as well. I mean, I like the National. They're close. It's probably the most accurate that you can get because they're right here on the front lines.
And up to the minute.
Up to the minute, yeah.
And they don't get, oh, man, it's him again. They don't ever do that. And, I just get the best information I can.
Right. Well, it's important, again, it's all about keeping these kids safe.
Sure.
But sometimes keeping the kids safe, especially during severe weather and spring storms, is to keep them out there at that school.
Right.
And I know everybody's going, I want my baby at home. I want, where I can take care of them, of course. But it's sometimes, it's just a risk to get them to dismiss school early and get them out on the road and maybe get caught.
Yeah.
So
we did that one time about 2 or 3 years ago. So far, God's blessed, and we've got it right.
Yes.
And I hope it continues. That way. But when we've had to make a decision, it's been right.
Good deal. Well, you have been in this position how long? I know you took from Frankie, the birthday boy yesterday,
yes,
and
sir,
the old
was.
WPKY Tiger.
Yeah.
But how long have you been doing this position?
It'll be 4 years in 1st of November.
And you were kind of an understudy as well. You've been in this game a long time.
Right. I drove a bus for 26 years.
Yeah.
And I like doing it. One of these days I may be back on the bus.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about your bus fleet and things such as that. Are they? Do we have a mixture of just fuels? Do we have gas, diesel, propane? How does that work?
We are straight diesel. They've done away with gasoline buses.
Okay.
They phased them out after the Carrollton crash years ago. We don't have any propane at this time. We jumped in on the hybrid bus a few years ago when that was the thing, and those didn't pan out. So we're going to let some other folks figure out the kinks in the propane buses, and then we may jump in later.
I tell you, I worked for a company that had a propane fleet one time, and it was fantastic. It really was, and I don't know what the situation is there, but those seem to work well for that particular fleet that I was involved in. So that'd be interesting to see what develops there.
Well, Crittenden County jumped in with both feet, so I'm in contact with them every now and again. So
good deal.
We're using them as the guinea pig kind of.
What is the status on your driver situation?
Oh, that's always a work in progress. That's the toughest part of this job. I'm always in need of drivers. The pay's pretty good. You make, $12 an hour. That's not bad
No.
starting out. The problem is you only get 4 hours a day, 181 days a year. So it's made for certain people.
It could be ideal for some people.
Absolutely. I've got several men that are handymen. That's their job. They just need benefits, and they drive a bus, and they're awesome. I have 2 or 3 pastors that needed benefits, needed insurance and things like that. And it's ideal for those folks.
Right.
But the benefits package is really good. It's the same as what the teachers get and everybody else. So, but I was sitting pretty until about 3 weeks ago, and I had 4 go elsewhere. They took other jobs, and
Just happens sometimes, doesn't it?
I never get mad at somebody for bettering themselves.
Sure.
So we consolidated a route so that I would be in need of one less driver. We moved some people around, and we're going to make it. I've got 2 or 3 in training. So
Yeah, tough when you got to put McAllister on a bus.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. No, Bruce, I love you. No, Bruce.
he is bailing me out. He's helping. I mean,
Yeah, there's no doubt.
He's
Great.
not going to get paid. He's just doing it.
Yeah,
So
good for him.
Heck yeah,
He's a
Bruce
fine
McAllister.
fella.
He is.
He loves the Village people. I play him for him all the time.
Really?
He always
Hey,
requests the Village
There's
people.
only 2 or 3 Brewers fans in Kentucky,
And that's
and
yeah.
they're all in Princeton. Me, him, Jake Pepper.
I think that's
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
Bonding brothers with the Brewers.
That's it.
Awesome. Well, I know that everybody's looking forward to this year. We're going to have a great year here in the Caldwell County school system. Have we feel like we've covered everything? Is there anything else that I didn't ask you about that we feel like we need to cover as far as transportation is concerned?
I just want to brag on my drivers. They are the best.
They are
Their
fantastic.
safety record is awesome. Put your kids on the bus. We'll get them there safe, and we'll take good care of them. But my folks are good. I want to brag on Jeff Harper and Ricky Cotton and Frankie Brown. They're my driver trainers, and our folks are prepared.
Yes.
So many times people go, I can't drive a bus, the responsibility. You're trained. You're trained well. Driving the bus is not an issue. The hardest part is dealing with kids, but that's the same thing as a teacher. The hardest part is dealing with kids, and it's not hard.
And a lot of the buses have monitors on them now, don't they?
Some
of them?
Some.
Okay.
I've got probably a third, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe a little less.
So not all of them need a monitor.
No, well, I've got about 10 people that keep their buses at home. They live on their route.
Okay.
So they don't get a monitor because.
Understand. There's nowhere to pick one up.
Sure. But
they've got things under control, and it's a good ride for kids to school. It's good, safe transportation.
Well, it's 8 times safer than any other kind of transportation.
Yeah.
So the safety record is number 1.
And kudos to them because I know they do, and I know the safety record is fantastic,
Sure.
and that's for you guys that get out here and work hard and hire good people. It's for them that actually are paying attention, doing what they're supposed to be doing. And don't forget, they do stop at all the railroad crossings as well.
Right.
So, I know sometimes they're sitting up here right at this intersection. People go, I got to get to, there's no train coming, but they have to. That's just how it is. That's just how it is.
That's the law.
So, well, kudos to you, and thank you for for what you do for us here in the system. And because I know that job logistically, it's a tremendous responsibility. You're responsible for the safety of a lot of kids. Your drivers, your staff, and you all do a fantastic job. Can't thank you enough for keeping our kids safe and making all this work smoothly for all of us. It's fantastic.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, thank you to everybody in the Caldwell County School System. Big opening day tomorrow. I know the teachers reported Monday.
Yes, they did.
And I think they get a little respite today. I'm sure some of them are anticipating, and they're out there getting ready for tomorrow as well. Right. I know you're ready.
I'm ready.
And it's going to be a great day tomorrow for opening day for students here in our Caldwell County School System. Thank you, Jimmy Dyer, for what you do.
You are very welcome.
Thank you for being here on the Tiger. We appreciate it, and have a great year.
I plan on it.
All righty. We've been talking to Mr. Jimmy Dyer. He is the Director of Transportation for Caldwell County School District here in Princeton on Tiger Talk. It is 8:28. Thanks for joining us for Tiger Talk. Be sure you tune in tomorrow as we will have our extension program during the 8 o'clock hour when Joni Phelps will join us. And we have a little surprise on tomorrow's broadcast, so you have to stay tuned for that. You're listening to Tiger Talk here on your hometown radio station, WPKY The Tiger. Brantley Furniture is having an anniversary sale all week long.